Well, what's up, everyone? Andy from Wager Talk and Winning in the Shadows. I'm going to do a quick breakdown on all these fights. So here's what happened. Jim lost his voice, like completely, like could barely talk. So he's not going to do the UFC or the NFL show because we want to make sure he's good for the UFC live show. So on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel, you do not want to miss our end of the year spectacular live show. Join our Discord. There's a recipe that Jim and I are making ribs for Jim's famous ribs recipe. That's going to be our big meal. And we'll watch the fights live. But let's just do a quick breakdown here on the fights. Just going to be me this week. We're going to go through these fairly quick. No time codes because I'm trying to do everything myself. Apologize for this. We start with Teresa Bleda and Jamie Lynn Horth. Overs are a pretty obvious betting spot here. Bleda's young. I keep forgetting this about her. Only 24, and we have not seen her since June of 2023. Now, she did have a couple of fights canceled, but only one scheduled fight in 2024, only one in 2025. I'm very curious why we have this big layoff for someone so young. She gasses. She likes to try and get takedowns. Her striking is not very good. She opened up as the favorite. I actually kind of like Jamie Lynn Horth in this one. Horth is 35, but she's physical. I think she can stuff some of these takedowns of Bleda, and I think she's going to have the cardio advantage. So it's dog or pass in this one. Horth or nothing for me. Alan Fry, I don't know, and Pat, I don't know where this fight came from or why we're doing it, but it's unders all day for me in this one. Look at Alan Fry and all finishes. This last fight he had against Justin Frazier, this Justin Frazier guy, like takes him down, holds him down for a little bit, and then Fry gets up and just like nukes him. He fights a million miles an hour. Pat is undefeated. He looks really athletic. He really beat the snot out of this guy last time in LFA. He got the round 3 finish, but this guy was really beat up. So I think Fry's going to push the pace early. I think someone's going to sleep. This is an under. If I'm taking it, it's Pat by knockout because I haven't seen cardio from Fry. I have no idea what happens. I've seen Pat get a knockout in round 3. So Pat by KO will be the pick there. Luana Santos and Melissa Croden. Interesting fight here. This one's tough. Santos' last win is against Tainara Lisboa. Melissa Croden, her last win is against Tainara Lisboa. I really don't have a strong opinion on this one. Each fighter's pretty good on the ground. Croden's striking looked better than what I thought it was going to be when she had her UFC debut. Santos, I think, might be just a touch more polished. If I had to bet it, which I don't have to, but for purposes of the video, I'll pick Luana Santos. But this is a fight, goes the distance, but even that, it's pretty juicy, so it's probably pass and move on. Here's a fight that's not going the distance. Sean Sheriff and Steven Epplund. I hope that Sheriff has made some improvements. Any improvement. Just any improvement, Sean, from your UFC debut, because it was atrocious. Junior Tafa beats him. These guys were so tired in the second round. They were dead to the world. So, based on what I saw from him, it's Steven Epplund. It's Steven Epplund by knockout. Steven Esplund's got a very weird physical appearance. He lost a bunch of weight, so he's got the extra skin. He's talked about it. But this guy can hit, man. This guy's got finishing power. I kind of like his fight IQ. I think he fights pretty smart. And this is a guy who can get knockouts outside of round 1. So I have this fight. I actually think it probably doesn't get out of round 1 because both these guys are going to be swinging big. I think Sheriff knows he's got to get a finish early, and if he doesn't, Epplund gets the win. But I'll take Epplund to win by finish. But more than anything, I like the unders in this fight. Neil Magny and Yaroslav making his anticipated UFC debut. I got to be honest, I'm not really that impressed with him. I know his record's good. I know he's got a lot of hype, but I am terrified of these guys in their 30s who have this inflated record that are finally getting their chance in UFC. It doesn't make much sense when you have all these young guys entering UFC. There's something I don't trust about him. And Neil Magny, he continues to be the gatekeeper. He's still got it. Chokes out Jake Matthews, gets the knockout against Zaleski, and let's be honest, look who he's losing to. Pratez, Morales, and Gary. Like 3 legit title contenders. So you give him somebody that's not a title contender, he's still got it. He's striking, he's long, he's got a decent enough ground game and submission game. I went and looked at I went and looked at him, and he gets knocked out by Jason Jackson and Bellator. Beat Logan Storley, but couldn't fit Douglas Lima. I don't know. I'm not sold on him. I'll just say that. Neil Magny at big plus money, I think you could do way worse. This would be a live line. Absolutely, we could get a good live line on Neil Magny. So it's just the experience of Neil Magny in the UFC and this Yaroslav not getting his shot in the UFC until his 30s, just red flag for me. So I'll be on the dog in that one. Brito and Isaac Thompson. I kind of like Thompson here coming in on short notice. What you notice about Thompson is he's young, but he's got good experience. He's got enough fights. He's got a couple of amateur fights as well. This last fight in LFA, his opponent just tried to wrestle him and grapple him and try and take him down. And what I liked about him was he was not tired in the 3rd round. He showed really, really good cardio. His striking is decent. He's only getting better. He's really athletic. And Joe Anderson Brito, if you're putting together a fantasy roster of UFC fighters that make bad decisions in fights, he's got to be one of your starters. He's like a flex pick. His performance against Sabatini was laugh out loud hilarious. It was awful. Like, Jim had a bet on Brito. Brito comes out and throws a body kick and immediately gets taken down. I've never seen Jim make a live bet faster than that when he live bet against Brito. It's a guy that's lost 2 in a row. Listen, he's violent. He can absolutely get the finish, but he makes bad mistakes. And if you can weather that early storm, I question where Brito's going to be at in round 3. So I'll take a little sprinkle on Isaac Thompson. I think he can get the job done. Lamos and Jillian Robertson, great fight. These two are pretty even. Robertson needs to get this on the ground because I think striking wise, Lamos still has the striking advantage. But here's the thing: Lamos got taken down pretty easily by Suarez until the 3rd round, and then she reversed roles and almost finished Tatiana Suarez. Against Lucindo, Lamos was able to win that with some takedowns, but then she got taken down in that fight as well. You got Jillian Robertson, who's just made so many great improvements, since the loss against Tabitha Ricci. She's looked really good. I don't think this fight is super bettable because Robertson is the bigger favorite. She's going to be the pick, but I'm not laying this juice on her because Lamos is still got some juice left in her. So Robertson has to get it to the ground. If this stays on the feet, I think Lamos is going to have the big advantage with striking. Robertson's striking has gotten better. I wouldn't say it's great. So I'll pick Jillian Robertson, but I have not bet this with my own money. King Green and Lance Gibson. King Green, absolutely no momentum, and yet he's the rightful favorite in this one, and I think he gets the job done. Don't be surprised if he knocks out Lance Gibson. Again, who has he lost to? Paddy Pimblett, potential title contender. Mauricio Ruffy looked horrible in Ruffy's last fight, but the guy's got power for days. So we know what happened to him against Jalen Turner. He beat the crap out of Jim Miller, and we know King Green's style. He wants to jab, he wants to stay on the feet, and he doesn't want it to go to the ground. Lance Gibson wants this to go to the ground. He's got a wrestling background. Here's the thing. I just don't think he's that good of a wrestler. He's been doing this against some really bad guys. I mean, this R.J. Hoyt guy, that was an awful performance. And then the best fighter that he's fought knocked him out with a jab. It wasn't even that powerful jab. It was just really, really well timed. Hit him right on the chin, and he goes out. So you're telling me you get a wrestler who's not that good of a wrestler who can get knocked out by a jab is fighting King Green? Yeah, Green for me will be the pick. Don't be surprised if Green gets the knockout here. Kennedy, Enzachuku against Marco Buchecha. I have this fight not to go the distance. Kennedy, since he moved up to heavyweight, looked good against Chris Barnett, even though Chris Barnett literally hurt himself when his name was being announced. gets the knockout against Lucas Brzeski. Now, are those performances, are those opponents good? No. Was he supposed to win? Yeah. Did he win? Yeah, in convincing fashion. So he did what he was supposed to do. We talked about this with Walter Walker, where it's like, Kennedy, Walter's going to do one thing and one thing only, and yet somehow he didn't manage to figure that out. So you got to question where his fight IQ and game plan is at. Whereas Marcus Uchecha looked absolutely terrible in his debut. He couldn't get Martin Budai down, and when he can't get guys down, he's exposed. He got tired. I think this is, in a way, a nightmare matchup for both guys, and whoever wins, I think they get the finish, because if this is a striking match, Kennedy will knock him out. If Buchecha can get it on the ground, he will submit Kennedy. So whoever wins, I think it's by finish. So I'll be on the unders. If I had to pick, I'll just hold my nose and take Kennedy, even though I've been burned by that man a few times. But Kennedy will be the pick, but really, if I'm betting anything, it's unders. Morgan Sher and Costa. Speaking of a guy I've lost money on, Morgan Sher. I have, this may be the guy I've had the worst read on. I was right against Zucchini. That one I was right. He lost against Chepe, even though I swear he won that fight. We did pick him against Gabriel Moreno. Okay, so there's two. Lost to Nathaniel Wood. I lost on that one. Then I picked him to lose to late Landwehr. He gets the late finish. And here's the thing with Morgan. He's just so low volume. He doesn't push a fast pace. The only fight that he did push a fast pace was against Nate Landwehr. But was that because Morgan made adjustments, or is that because Nate Landwehr pushes a fast pace and is truly insane? I don't know. Costa's kind of the same way. He can not throw a lot of volume, but when he does, they're accurate. They're effective. This guy's won 4 in a row. I mean, listen, who's he lost to in UFC? Steve Garcia. That is no shame in that. And then this loss against Thiago Moises, that was his UFC debut that he took on a couple days' notice. So no shame in that. He's beaten these guys that he should beat. I think he's a bit of an overachiever, and I want the guy who I think's just, he wants it a little bit more. I don't trust Morgan. I'm smart enough to know I should not be betting a Morgan Sherry fight, so I'm not going to. I'm going to pick Costa, but I'm going to do you guys all a favor, and I'm not going to jinx this fight by betting a penny of my own money on it. You're welcome. Cesar Almeida and Cesare Sechek. Tricky one. Cesar Almeida seems to be the sexy underdog where everyone thinks they're really smart by grabbing the plus money on Cesar Almeida. And, ooh, I get a kickboxer. And, ooh, it's the guy that, beat Alex Pereira. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it with this guy. I initially wanted to pick Cesar Almeida, and then I saw everyone on him, and I went back and watched film. And here's another fight that I think doesn't go the distance, so my money will be on an under in this one. But here's the thing about Cesar Almeida. You go back and watch this Alisson fight, and if you just look at Tapology, you go, oh, okay, he got the knockout. Congratulations. He was getting lit up. He does not have the best striking defense at all, and he really doesn't have any takedown defense. So his UFC career is off to a good start, but okay. Dylan Budka, come on. Loses a split to Kopylov. Petrea is a walking loss. And Alisson, he's easy to knock out. Cesare's been around for a while, 16-3. Even though it's his UFC debut, he's obviously got his brother. They're training at Fighting Nerds. It seems to have made a difference. And this guy has got big-time power. He absolutely nuked this Theo Hegg. Theo Hegg comes in for the takedown, and he starts hammer-fisting this guy in the head and knocks him out. Tom Breeze's best days are behind him, but he does get a knockout here. There's so many paths to a finish here. Cesar Almeida has one-shot knockout power. Sechek has one-shot knockout power. Almeida's awful with takedowns, so maybe Sechek gets a takedown and there's ground and pound. I just think there's so many ways that both these guys could win. I'm going to pick Sechek just because I really, really like what I've seen from him and his brother since they've gotten better camps and better training with Fighting Nerds. So, but unders is going to be the way I'll play this one. You'll hear that a lot. Giga and Kevin Viejos. Is Giga done? Is Giga done? Coming off of losses to Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen, David Onama, mix in there a win against Alex Caceres. So we know Giga's the kickboxer. He's going to work those long-range kicks. Viejos, a lot of hype behind him. He's got some pretty good power. I'm just going to caution everybody betting big on Kevin Viejos and putting him in your parlays. Cam Teague stinks, and he knocked him out on Contender Series. Sung Woo Choi is just begging to be knocked out. This fight against Danny Silva was really, really competitive, and it was really good. And what you saw was when Kevin Viejos fights a guy who can work the distance, that knockout power isn't totally there. Now, he can wrestle, so he's got multiple weapons, but there's a world where Giga throws these kicks to the legs and to the body, and it gets Viejos off of his line. It gets him off of his feet. And Kevin Viejos does not have a good reach. He's not long. So he needs to get inside. And if Giga can just make life really annoying, there's a chance Giga really frustrates Kevin Viejos. I think Viejos wins, but this price tag makes it completely unbettable. That being said, Giga's not looked great. So I'm not gonna rush out to bet on Giga. I'm just saying proceed with caution. And this could be a live bet opportunity if Giga is having success. So we'll move on to the main event. And real quick, guys, what do we have up at Wager Talk? This weekend, we have a ton. We have an NFL 5% best bet, and that's going to have all of our props for Sunday, coming off a winner on Thursday. So week 15 off to a great start. We have 3 cricket plays that are up. That starts on Sunday. So cricket continues to be a cash cow, the cricket department. Jan is doing an absolutely fantastic job. And then Jan has also been doing good in boxing. All you all-access clients know that. 3-1 since we started posting boxing plays. So we're going to put UFC and boxing all into one. UFC Saturday evening, so is boxing. So you're going to get UFC and our boxing plays for one price. So really encourage you to join us. Jan came to us a while back and said, I think we should put in some boxing plays. So can't complain about a 3-1 start to that one. So a lot of big things going on at Wager Talk for this weekend. Royval and Kape. Kape, the big favorite. I saw the video pictures going around social media of how he's got boobs, a sign of maybe some special vitamins. I mean, in a vacuum, Kape's striking is more powerful. It's more accurate. He's probably got more volume. He's coming off a really nice finish against Asu Almeida, a fight he absolutely dominated. Bruno Silva, kind of the same thing. It's a round 3 finish, but man, he was really beating up Silva. So who's he lose to? Makayev, who takes guys down and neutralizes the striking. It's not really Brandon Royval's game. Royval coming off the loss to Josh Van, no shame in that. Coming off the loss to Pantoja, no shame in that. But this guy that beat Brandon Moreno and Tatsuro Taira, but both by split decision. X's and O's. I think Royval's going to have to get off to a good start. He's kind of wiry with his strikes. They come at weird angles. He's got some long arms that can frustrate people. If he gets off to a good start and can put a little bit of damage on Kape, which is really hard to do because Kape is really, really good with his head movement and on his feet, Royval can make this interesting. I just think Kape's power is going to wear down Royval as the fight goes on. I think this is a live bet opportunity. I'm not rushing out to put Kape in my parlays just because the guy can be a head case. It's well documented, some of the weirdness that goes on with him, and I just don't trust him. I don't want my money on him in this fight. Royval he's a warrior, man. Like he's gonna go toe to toe with the best. That fight against Van was really, really good, and Van won at the end when he dropped Royval. So it's I guess the pick has got to be Kape, but don't be surprised if Royval can get off to a good start if this fight is really, really close and goes the distance. So it'll be Kape as the official pick, but I'm not going to be betting on a Manel Kape fight. So a lot of unders this week. And so thanks so much for joining us again. We'll be on the live show on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. Hopefully Jim will have his voice. So last event of the year, and I have no idea what to make of 2026 with UFC going to Paramount Plus. They just announced they got rid of Fight Pass. I don't know what that's all about. We have a lot of unknowns, but join our Discord, the Winning in the Shadows Discord. We'll be talking about it. We'll try and figure out what to make of all these changes. But 2026, hopefully they give us some good betting opportunities. Live bets just been fantastic in 2025, so we're hoping to continue that on this Saturday and close out a big 2025. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone Saturday.